Hansel and Gretel. We all know that story, right? Two kids lost in the woods, a trail of breadcrumbs, and of course, that incredible house made of gingerbread. It's a story that feels like it's been around forever, a real classic from our childhoods.
Just think about it for a second. The walls are made of gingerbread, the roof is cake, the windows are pure sugar. It's the ultimate fantasy, isn't it? A place of just pure, innocent magic. The kind of sweet escape you dream of as a kid when the world feels a little too scary.
But what if it's not an escape? What if it's a trap? What if that whole candy house isn't a dream at all, but a beautiful lie, built to hide a reality so awful, so terrifying, that we had to turn it into a fairy tale just to cope?
Okay, let's get into this. We're gonna treat this like a cold case. The mission? To peel back all those layers of sugar and candy and find the hard evidence, the haunting history that's been buried underneath. It's time to separate the fairy tale from the terrifying facts.
And this is where it all starts. Not with some cackling witch, but with a family pushed to the absolute brink of survival. Just listen to that line. You can feel the desperation. This isn't just about kids getting lost. This is about being thrown away because of raw, gut-wrenching poverty.
And that desperation, well, that's our first real clue. To crack this case, we have to follow the crumbs. Not breadcrumbs, though, crumbs of history. And the most important piece of evidence isn't what the story says, it's how the story was changed, deliberately.
Take a look at this. This is our first exhibit of hard evidence. In the very first edition published by the Grimm brothers back in 1812, who's the villain? It's the children's biological mother. But then, fast forward a few decades to 1857, and suddenly she's become a stepmother. That, my friends, is no accident. That's a cover-up. Right. This wasn't some minor edit. This was a conscious choice to make an unbearable truth a little easier to swallow. The idea of a real mother abandoning her own kids was just too much. But it makes you ask the real question. What kind of real-world horror was so bad it could inspire that original terrible idea? The answer, the thing that unlocks this entire mystery, it's not hidden in the story itself. It's in a massive, catastrophic event that happened centuries before the Brothers Grimm even picked up a pen. We have to go way back, to the 1300s, a period of, believe it or not, intense climate change. We're talking volcanic activity, years of nonstop rain. It was a disaster. It led to massive crop failures, and between 1315 and 1317, Europe was plunged into what's now called the Great Famine. Society itself basically collapsed.
And this is where the fairy tale stops and history begins. Because when you read the historical records from that time, it's chillingly familiar. Parents abandoning their children to survive? Check. That's the opening of our story. Widespread, documented accounts of cannibalism? Well, there's your witch, fattening up kids to put in her oven.
So you see, it all lines up. The abandonment, the starvation, a house that offers food in the middle of nowhere, an old woman who eats children. None of this is fantasy. It's a scar, a haunting cultural memory of a time when the world literally fell apart. The story of Hansel and Gretel is the ghost of the Great Famine.
And once you see it through that historical lens, all the characters change. The mother isn't just a monster anymore. She's a reflection of thousands of desperate parents who made an impossible choice. And the witch? Well, the witch becomes the ultimate horror of that time. Survival at any cost. Now, in any cold case, you're gonna hit some false leads. There's this one popular theory you'll see all over Reddit, claiming the story is really about a baker named Katharina Schrader who was murdered for her gingerbread recipe back in the 1600s. It sounds so specific, so plausible.
Yeah, except it's completely fake. It was invented out of thin air in the 1960s by a German satirist for a joke book. He even faked the evidence. It's the perfect example of how a good bit of misinformation can totally hide the much deeper, much more important truth. Debunked.
So, here we are. We've uncovered the story's real origin. It's a memory of famine, of being abandoned, of cannibalism. Which brings us to the final question we have to answer. If this story is really that dark, why on earth do we keep telling it to our kids?
The author Neil Gaiman had a really profound thought about this. He basically said that dark stories serve a purpose. He compares it to an inoculation, a small, safe dose of darkness to prepare you for the real thing. If you try to shield kids from everything scary in stories, they'll have no idea what to do when they face it in real life.
And that's our verdict.
Hansel and Gretel has survived all these centuries not just to give us a good scare, but to arm us. It's a cultural tool. It's that inoculation. It teaches kids that yes, the world can be a dark place, but you can be smart, you can be brave, you can face that darkness, and you can actually win.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? The next time you hear one of these ancient tales, ask yourself, are you just listening to a story, or are you tracing the faint outline of an old wound, a scar left on our collective memory, a survival guide passed down from ancestors we'll never know?